Hi everyone and welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. Shelby Shuffle Mode is all music based, so if you're into that you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But today's video I am going to be talking about Taylor Swift's newest album, Folklore, which came out just a couple days ago by surprise. She did one of those things where she was like, surprise everyone, I have an album coming out in a few hours. That is like 2020 in a nutshell though. I gave myself a couple days because I wasn't expecting a new album, but I am here now. I've listened to the album once and I have some immediate takeaways. In the comments you can let me know what you have thought of this album, especially if you are a Swiftie. If you are a huge Taylor Swift fan, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. I would not classify myself as a Swiftie. I just don't really know the ins and outs of Taylor Swift. So yeah, I'm gonna focus more just like overall on the album. I have a few tracks I want to talk about, but I more specifically am just focusing on how I felt or the biggest takeaways I had upon listening to it for the first time. So here are my immediate thoughts. First of all, I am very happy that Pop Taylor Swift is taking a break. Whether or not that is a permanent break or if it's just this album, she is very much a chameleon and she likes to change her persona pretty frequently. But Pop Taylor Swift had about 4 albums worth of time, and this album, I think, is a sound and a type of album that makes a lot of sense for Taylor Swift to produce and put out to the world. There is no denying that she is excellent at creating very catchy pop tunes, whether you love them or hate them, if they just get ingrained in your brain and they just stay there. And there's no denying that she's good at that. But I mean, we all know she's been through a lot of ups and downs in the last 5 years when it comes to the press, this, that, or the other, which I don't really care about that. I'm just here to talk about the music, and strictly speaking with the music, I was definitely waiting for something to kind of suit more her country roots, even if it wasn't entirely country. And now she has entered the world of very indie folk sort of music, which, I mean, literally the album is called Folklore. So I just feel like this style of music, this genre, suits not only her style of singing and her voice, but lyrically, she can really give some very beautiful imagery with her lyrics, and having this more understated music, folk music, is really allowing that opportunity for her songwriting to shine, which I think is excellent. Another takeaway from Folklore is this album is not happy. It is not a very happy album. This album, it has got a lot of sad romantic songs in it, which we all know that Taylor Swift loves to write about love, good and bad. But there's a lot of sad romance, but it's filled with nostalgia too, which I feel like is something that everyone kind of has been feeling in 2020. One way or another, 2020 has probably had you thinking about your past, good and bad, and either reminiscing on the good times or bad times. But we've had a lot of time to think because we can't be as busy, you know, distracting ourselves, going out and about, doing whatever it may be. So this album definitely is an album where if you just like want to feel all the feels, you probably want to turn it on and just let yourself get carried away in the music. And whether that's you want to think about sad romance or daydream or just think about the past, this is definitely an album for that. So out of all of the tracks that I have listened to, there are 4 songs in particular that stood out to me immediately. So I'm going to talk about those 4 songs. But first, beyond those 4, I will mention the 3 songs that I thought this was pretty clever. I do like how she wrote about like a teenage love triangle from the perspective of all, I think it was it's the perspective of all 3 people involved in this love triangle across 3 different songs. That's kind of awesome. Like, I feel like that's pretty good songwriting right there. So those tracks would be August, Betty, and Cardigan. That's one thing I do really like about this Taylor Swift album. Most of her albums in the past are very much her focused and her writing from a perspective of herself. But this album, she is storytelling more and writing about other people's experiences. And I love good storytelling songs. I love when a song tells a whole story. And so that's where I'm going to get into the tracks that I specifically liked. So the first track I want to talk about, sorry, I'm going to read from my phone a little bit on this one. The first track I want to talk about is The Last Great American Dynasty. And I wrote this down on my phone as I was listening to it. I said, I actually love that lyrically it's telling a story about someone else, not a love song, which is Tay's bread and butter. But it's true. It's a nice song about a woman who is kinda just, she's a divorcee and she just is like kind of out to get the community that made her feel like garbage about herself. That's what I took away from it. But I just like that it was a song written entirely about someone else and not from Taylor's life at all. So that was nice. Next song I want to talk about is Exile with Bon Iver. Bon Iver. Gosh, I always do the accents wrong. Bon Iver. No, it's not Bon Iver. It's Bon Iver. I get it messed up all the time. It's a complex love song. I like, once again, they're like coming at one another, going back and forth with the lyrics. But having a duet with him is the most telling sign of what this album is. That is like the deepest dive into like indie music she could have possibly made, and it works really well. Their two voices work so well together. I think it's just a really nice song, and I think it'll be very popular. One of the notes I wrote specifically from her singing on this, I said, the vocals on this one really give me early days T-Swift vibes, and I'm very happy about that. So what I mean by that is I'm someone who I sometimes like to go back and listen to like country Taylor Swift, which I don't even really listen to a lot of country, but I think her voice suits singer-songwriter-esque songs. It just, I think, complements that style of music best, and this song in particular really reminded me of that, and I just really enjoyed listening to it. The next song I want to talk about is Illicit Affairs. I just liked that one. I didn't write much, but I did write. The lyrics really shine on this one. It's sad love, like most of the songs on here. It's sad love, but I liked Illicit Affairs because it was just a different style musically from what she normally does, and I just think it was packed full of lyrics that really created beautiful imagery of what exactly was going on. And once again, I can't say it enough, this album really shows off her just talent when it comes to having a very diverse vocabulary, and then she puts it into her songs, and she's like the queen of adjectives. I mean, she's really good at describing things in a very short span of time, and this song I feel like really shows that. The last song from her album that really stood out to me and when I very first listened to it was Epiphany. And this is what I wrote down as I was listening. I said, gosh, if 2020 was a song, it's this. Message aside, I enjoy the music arrangement a lot in this one. And once again, her breathy vocals on this track are perfect for the song's context. So I think this goes back to a lot of people, after I listened to it, I looked up and yeah, a lot of people think this song was about 2020. So I was right on that front, but it truly does feel like what all of us could be feeling in some capacity or another about what this past year has been so far. And her vocals, she kept her vocals in general on this album more tender, more soft. And I really feel like that is where she excels whenever she allows herself to be more soft and like breathy with how she sings. I think that sounds really pretty on her. And this song really was full of that. So all in all, it just felt very delicate and pretty, and I really liked it. So my final thoughts on Folklore as a whole is, yes, it is definitely an album to turn on if you want to be put in the feels and if you want to let your mind wander. Whether you're feeling sad or you're feeling nostalgic, it's definitely good for that. I really love that we got to see more of like singer-songwriter Taylor Swift with her more tender, delicate vocals, and that's how I describe the music and all of this, is just delicate. It's like indie, delicate, folk, beautiful music. I just mean it's very impactful music, I would say, without it having to be in your face, powerful sounding. So I think that's really nice. I personally hope this Taylor Swift stays. I hope that this folklore era lasts a while. And one thing about Taylor Swift that I have always thought about her, she is one of the most strategic musicians in the industry. Like, she's very good at the business side of the industry. I have always thought that. She's always been very like, I feel like she creates the music she wants to create, but she's also thinking about the business side of it. And I feel like she kind of has been open with that too. I mean, she had a whole documentary where she was, you know, with Reputation, didn't get nominated for any Grammys, and she was like, okay, so I need to make a record that will be nominated for Grammys. Like, she does care about those things. But I feel like with this album and with 2020, it's kind of showing that maybe even her mindset has shifted some, and she just wanted to put this music out even if it wasn't the perfect time. And she even said that herself. So I just think it's like probably the most real version of her that we've seen in a while. And I think that that is so appreciated, especially during this year. It's the perfect time to release something like this. It just feels right. What are your thoughts on it? I think that this is a definite good match music genre-wise for her. I think that this album was great, and I think it'll hit home for a lot of people. So let me know in the comments what songs you like from the album, or what your favorite Taylor Swift songs are in general. I would love to know what you think about all of this. Music is totally opinion-based, so let's have a discussion down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, or if you like music-based content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching this video, and until next time, bye.